Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be going over all of the unused palettes in my makeup collection. I do have quite a full bin and we'll be going through each one today overhead style, just so you can see the color stories a little bit closer up than with my big camera in my traditional filming setup because I don't have autofocus. This is a lot of palettes, and I do know that. And a big contributor to that was those eyeshadows and how I was panning in the last couple of years. And since stopping that project and introducing Project 10 uses, as well as having more freedom to shop my stash, I can tell you that this number has already reduced a significant amount in the past 6 weeks since I made that change. And I hope to see that number go down significantly ASAP. I don't know what I'm getting at, except to say that I will be doing a 6-month check-in on this basket. And if I haven't used these palettes in the next 6 months, I am going to force myself to declutter them because this is just silly. And I know it's silly, and I am not on an eyeshadow no-buy, and I don't foresee myself doing that to myself. But I need to stop buying palettes if I'm not prioritizing using them. You'll see palettes in here that I bought many years ago I still haven't used. You'll see palettes I bought for myself as birthday presents I still haven't used. Palettes I was really excited to test out and try, but just never had the time because of project panning, and I'm going to change that in 2023. So that's enough for an intro. Let's hop into these. These 3 palettes I have owned for many years. These are the 3 oldest unused palettes in my collection. One came from a BoxyCharm. This one came from a BoxyCharm, but not my BoxyCharm. I was actually given this by my sister-in-law, and I bought this palette because I really, really wanted it, and I still have never used it. So first I have the Alamar Cosmetics Spanglish palette. I was really impressed with the different textures shown in this palette and how multi-dimensional those shimmer shades look. But I have a lot of pink and purple in my collection, and I have not used this yet. I think this might be a contender to declutter. I'm going to see if a friend or a family member would get some more use out of this because I just feel like I don't need it. But you guys know me, I don't like decluttering if it doesn't have a home to go to. Like, what's the alternative? Me throwing this in the trash? That seems silly. These 2 are priorities, and I will be pulling them in my next Shop My Stash because they need to be used. I have the Ace Beauté Vintage Dawn palette. This looks like a wonderful transitional fall to winter palette. We have these rich, deep fall tones, but also the blues here, which I think will take me from like November into December. So like I said, I'm going to pull this in my next Shop My Stash, and I hope I love it. And then the Going Coconuts. This is a classic now, and it's a perfect neutral palette, but I'm always panning, or I was always panning a neutral of some kind, and that is what has happened. So it was kind of like, why would I go into here for these basic neutrals when I always had those shades going in my Pan Those eyeshadows, which I always kind of deemed my priority. But look how stunning this palette is. Like, this is a perfect everyday palette, and I love neutrals and these brown tones. So you're gonna see like a lot of these things just don't logically make sense, but this is what has happened, and that is why we need to fix it in 2023. So like I said, these 2 palettes for sure are going to be pulled in my next Shop My Stash. Let's continue on the Colourpop train because I have a lot of Colourpop palettes that I've purchased myself but also received in mystery boxes, and I am ashamed to say that I have a big Colourpop haul coming that I made on Black Friday. So I have no business placing an order for a brand that I have palettes that I've already bought and still have not used. Do you see this pile? This is the majority of the palettes that I haven't used. And most of these came in the mystery boxes I got last year. And I haven't had a chance to test out yet. So why did I buy another mystery box? Because I have a makeup spending issue. Okay, first up, the So Very Lovely palette. Like I said, I got this in a mystery box, but I actually really wanted this palette. It was a spring release last year, so 2021, I believe. And look how beautiful that is. This is gorgeous. This is a dream spring palette for me. So why didn't I reach for this past spring? Next, I have the Cherry Crush palette. Now this is one I thought I would pass along, but once I actually opened it and saw that this actually is less monochromatic than I first thought. Like, yes, obviously it's monochromatic, but like each column has a different undertone, which I think is absolutely beautiful. I hope you guys are able to see the colors properly with this setup. I think this is stunning. As we go through these, you'll have to vote in the comments on which palettes I should make a tippy top priority, because I don't know if I can get through all of these in 6 months along with my project pans. And like I said, the ones I don't get to are going to be decluttered. So you'll have to let me know what you think I should prioritize. I had these two Hello Kitty quads. How cute are these? I have the pink one and the yellow one. Again, these would have been wonderful in the summer. I actually didn't wear a ton of makeup in the summer. I got COVID right before summer hit, and then that kind of put me like in a weird, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling great for most of the summer, if I'm being honest. And then I have this yellow one, Pineapple Cake. I don't have a lot of yellow in my collection, and so I wanted to keep this and like give yellow a try. I don't even know if I've ever done a full yellow look. So I just thought that would be fun to experiment with, but still haven't used it. Next I have these two quads, again, also from that mystery box. I have Mocktail and Cream Soda. Here is Mocktail. It's more of a deeper neutral kind of shade, but this like reddish gold kind of shimmer looks so beautiful. I love the rich neutrals. And then I have Cream Soda, which is definitely lighter in tone. Light, basic, everyday neutrals. Do I need this? No, but I think it's super cute. And if I ever get the opportunity to travel, these quads would be perfect to bring along, like maybe just one of them. So that was the last of the mystery box items. And then this summer I actually bought 3 of these Zodiac quads, but I still have not used these 2. I have Never Tore Us Apart, which is a neutral and green. Wyatt is a Taurus, so that's why I bought that. And then I have Head Capricorn in Charge. My oldest, Max, from, yes, Emily and Max, is a Capricorn. So I bought this one for him. And then myself and Emmett, my youngest, are Aquariuses. And I'm actually currently using that in my project 10 uses. So I actually have used that quad, but not these 2. Oh, before I put this away, wouldn't this be wonderful for winter makeup? We'll be talking about that in a second here. Okay, let me see. What else are some of the oldest items? Okay, we're going to try and go in order of oldest from here. Those Colourpop ones weren't the oldest, but I just thought I'd keep those together. This little elf quad, which one is this? Chocolate Mint. I bought for my birthday, not this past year, but the one before that. So my birthday in January of 2021. Sealed. Still haven't used it. Doesn't that seem so freaking silly? I bought this for myself for my birthday because I was excited about it. And isn't that so cute? A great spring option. I got this Natasha Denona 5-pan in a BoxyCharm in March of 2021, I believe. This was when I resubscribed This is the Jubilee palette. I'm actually surprised not a ton of like more recent BoxyCharm items are in here. It's been canceled for a year, but even the ones I got prior to that. What season do you guys think this would go best in? I'm going to kind of split these up into seasons a little bit here at the end. These blues, like this deep, deep navy, just screams winter to me. I love blues in winter, or I am starting to love blues in winter. I've been doing a lot of blue makeup looks lately. And then these are very spring. So maybe this will just be a transitional winter to spring type palette for me. I'm going to try and split them up like that to prioritize them. But anyways, I tend to do my makeup seasonally, even though that's obviously not a requirement. Then I have this big guy, the ABH Norvina Volume 3. I got this in the ABH Takeover box for BoxyCharm, and I think the packaging on here is stunning. And look at all of these shades. This palette is very matte heavy, which is not my favorite, and some of these shimmers look very similar. I'm thinking D5, D2, C1. Yes, there's subtle differences, but not a ton. And like E2 and C4 look very similar. These brown shades, these orange shades. Yeah. I think this is absolutely beautiful. It would be perfect for spring going into summer, any time of year, of course, as with any of these palettes, but I automatically try and sort them into seasons for some reason in my mind. But yeah, I haven't tested this out yet. Obviously, that's the point of this video. I bought this BH Passion in Paris palette in Black Friday last year and have not used it. I'm happy to say that this is the only Black Friday palette. This is the only BH palette I haven't used. I bought quite a few last year on Black Friday, and it's just this one that I haven't used yet, but I hope to soon. For my birthday this year, 2022, I bought these 3 palettes and haven't used any of them. I have the Juvia's Place, the Berries palette. I will say Juvia's Place had some drama, controversy happen after I placed this order, but before it arrived. That kind of put a bad taste in my mouth, so that is why I have not used these yet. But I haven't gotten rid of them either, so they are still here. And this one, I am so sad. I really wanted to buy another Nomad palette this year, but I did stop myself because I don't know if I like the formula. Whereas with Colourpop, with BH Cosmetics, like I know I love those formulas, but with Nomad, I still don't know if this one will work for me. So why buy more when I haven't even used this one? This is Whistler themed, which is in Canada, so I wanted to buy it and, so you know, support my country, if you will. And I'm like half not wanting to use this because the embossing in those shadows is so beautiful. Now this is something I'm actually proud of. So these were for my birthday in January, so clearly we had a hiccup there. I did place a Colourpop order in the summer, like I mentioned, where I haven't used these 2 palettes from that order, but I have used everything else from that order. So from January to current, this is my newest palette, and it's also the last one that I haven't used. So I have made an effort to be better lately. This I received in the Tarte and BoxyCharm takeover thing. I just showed this in my most recent makeup rehab series. It is a basic neutral palette, but I do think it's very beautiful. So I do have this one as well. Like I said in that makeup rehab update, like if my mom or somebody says, oh, that's so beautiful, I'd love to own it, they can totally have it. But I did just get this in and haven't yet used it. So, you know, this is an 11-month gap. I feel pretty good about that, if that makes sense. You'll have to let me know if you have a lot of unused palettes in your collection so I can feel a little bit better about it. Now, like I mentioned, I wanted to kind of split these up into seasons, knowing that in 6 months' time, I'm going to declutter anything that's left. So anything that's blatantly fall themed, the only thing that's there are two. The Never Tore Us Apart and the Ace Beauté Vintage Dawn, which I said would be perfect to transition into winter. So especially Never Tore Us Apart, I feel like is at risk of being decluttered if I'm decluttering on 6 months and I just have it stuck in my head that this is only a fall palette. So I'm going to have to break out of that and use these two especially. And now we're going into winter. So again, Head Capricorn in Charge, I think is a perfect winter palette. This cool toned palette. Going Coconuts, of course. I already said I'm pulling ASAP. The Nomad palette and the Passion in Paris palette are my top priorities for the next couple of months. And of course, fitting these ones in as well, except for the Spanglish palette. Well, really the Spanglish and the Tarte palette, I could pretty easily let go of if I had someone who really wanted them. But if nobody wants them, then they will just end up, you know, still in my collection, because I am not in the business of just throwing makeup into a landfill. And now the rest of them, I guess I will have to fit into spring and early summer. Let me see, what do we have here? I mean, these three are very obvious summer palettes in my opinion. Like if I'm trying to put these in some semblance of an order, I think I'll get a lot of use out of this one in like February. I love berry and pink tones in those months. So, I mean, maybe the cherry palette could be in there as well. The So Very Lovely palette reminds me of like around Easter time. I guess this Magic Mini palette kind of feels January into February for me. I know I'm probably sounding silly organizing them in this way, but that's just how it makes sense in my mind. Like if I organize these into priority of when to use them, early spring, these very neutral palettes, I could of course use at any time. I'm just making a mess at this point, but I'm just trying to talk through my thought process. I don't know, you guys. You'll have to help me out. Let me know which ones you think I should use ASAP outside of these two. These two are going to be my next, I'm stuttering now, my next Shop My Stash palettes. But after that, which ones should I pull next? And which ones do you think I could let go of? I will be seeing a lot of family that I don't see very often during the Christmas holidays. So maybe that would be a good time to try and let go of some of these things. I don't know, maybe the cream soda. I really like it, but how much realistically am I really going to use it? Like if I'm being truly honest with myself. See, now I'm like kind of thinking that maybe my cousin would get more, well, my cousin would get more use out of it than me for sure, but would I be super sad to miss it? That is the thing, right? I don't want to declutter just for the sake of decluttering, but a lot of this stuff has been here for a really long time. So what is the point of that too? Anyways, I'm going to quit my rambling. Thank you so much for watching my unused palette video. Again, let me know in the comments if there are any palettes in your collection that you have not used. Are there any that you haven't used for years, like me? Or am I the only silly one here who lets such a thing happen? You'll have to let me know. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it despite my ramblings, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!